Up today, the Prime Ministerial trip to King Charles' coronation, which will take place, as we know, on Saturday evening Australian time. The Prime Minister overnight granted Sky's Piers Morgan a lengthy interview that will air on Sky tonight at 11 p.m. Now, Piers is a great interviewer and he prodded the Prime Minister about how easily it sits for an avowed Republican to pledge his allegiance to a foreign monarch he wants to get rid of if his second term, if he wins one, with a new referendum.
You're a lifelong Republican. What are you doing here, Prime Minister?
Well, I think you can be a lifelong Republican, which I am, and still respect our institutions.
What are you going to do in Westminster Abbey when you are urged to say the oath of allegiance to King Charles?
I do that every term.
No, I know, but are you going to say it in the Abbey with the world's cameras watching?
I will do what's entirely appropriate as the representative of Australia.
So you will say the oath?
As I have done 10 times when I get sworn into Parliament. Yes.
Great interview, and as I said, you can see that at 11 tonight. But surely this is all very hypocritical of the PM. I understand, as our Prime Minister, elected under the current system of a constitutional monarchy, that Anthony Albanese is required by convention to pledge his loyalty to the new king. But standing there, shaking hands with a bloke who, as a young, hard-left student activist, you would have loathed, you must be thinking to yourself, what the hell has my life become? Now, the Prime Minister is the latest in a long line of Australian Prime Ministers who seem to go weak at the knees in the presence of royalty. Now, just think Republican movement head Malcolm Turnbull, for example, or Labor leader, former Prime Minister Julia Gillard, who dressed up for a royal wedding. Look, it's this national hypocrisy that leads me to again point out that we as a nation should have again put the Republic question to the nation in a referendum well before this hard-to-explain, vague and worrying voice referendum. Labor and the Prime Minister have their referendums, in my view, around the wrong way. If Australians were to vote yes to changing our constitutional monarchy to a republic, a vote, by the way, that I'm still not sure would get up, then surely the follow-up voice question would be a hell of a lot easier to prosecute. Why don't we decide as a nation whether we stick with what we know, a Governor-General, state governors with King Charles at the top, or becoming a republic with a president as other Commonwealth countries have? It would remove this fakish bowing to royalty when we actually know that bloke doing the bowing publicly has said he would love to do him out of a job. No problem being polite, but it sits very oddly with me and I suspect with a lot of other Australians. Now, Anthony Albanese had no choice but to attend Saturday's pageantry. I have no argument with that, with all the crowns and the jewels and the fur and the horses and the carriages. But I think he could have made the visit to the UK for the coronation a lot more low-key. Now, as lucky as we are at Sky to have Piers Morgan interview Anthony Albanese for 50 minutes, he could have gone to the coronation, Anthony Albanese, and kept his head down. Instead, he's going to nuclear submarine bases, taking meetings with world leaders, doing interviews all over the place. His choice, that is, and his advisor's choice, I guess, but the timing is absolutely appalling. Back home, as he flew to the pageant, stretched home buyers copped another crippling interest rate rise, power bills are through the roof, inflation smashing food prices, rents are at record highs, taxes on cigarettes are going up again. And I stood behind a woman, by the way, today at a Woolies who paid $25.50 or a packet of 25 Marlboro cigarettes. Look, times are really tough, and the images we will see on Saturday won't make things any easier for Australians. And it's going to make, in the future, it very tough for Mr Albanese to keep rolling out the "I'm a battler from government housing" line. Come Saturday, here's a bit of advice from me, Anthony. You better jump on your jet and get back home quickly and start delivering on your promises to make life better under Labor.